しく角糸頼りに手繰り寄せたその流れに逆らうよただ君と描いた夢を歌うよ宵の奇跡輝く時綴る歌悲しく別れ告げる言葉さえも見当たらずにさよなら夜が明けて目を閉じた君はまだ少し怯えて絆見失うことないように鳴り止まぬ彼星屑の雨願いのせ落ちる星がならずに瞬く奇跡描き闇を払えて不安を君と誓うように知らぬ嫌かは定めの中で降り積もる雪解けと共に目覚めてそれがたとえ幻でも茨の道を君と渡る通す墨の形瞳の奥に焼き付けて二つ誓いの言葉言葉とめず時を刻むキス跡逆まく季節戻せたならば白く染められて世界として星降る夜に腕を出し切れれば君と月の虹を渡る鳴り止まぬ彼星屑の雨いくつ数えた先に巡り合えるのか過ちの糸で振り寄せながら次はそう手離せるように繰り返し続ける歌奏でた声
Hello everybody, welcome back once again to some more Mania 4-Key World Cup 2022 action. We've got our final match of the semifinals weekend. It is a loser's bracket match. Winner moves on into that finals week, top 6, and the loser will be unfortunately knocked out. We've got the two united teams, United States versus the United Kingdom. And I will be one of your commentators, Toph Daddy, joined once again by Sparky. How's it going?
It is going absolutely fantastic. A very exciting matchup to close out what has been a very electrifying semifinals weekend, and I cannot think of a better matchup than this. As you said, both united countries, United States and the United Kingdom going at it. Once again, this feels like a matchup as old as time itself.
It really does. I mean, we've seen these two teams duke it out against each other so many times in the past. We saw it happen in 2015, 2016, 2015 finals, 2016 semifinals, 2019 semifinals, 2019 semifinals in the losers bracket. But we've got two pretty much brand new rosters compared to the players that were facing off against each other in the previous years. So it's going to be maybe a bit of a different story than what we've seen in the past.
For sure, as you said, two very fresh lineups. I feel like the United States having the fresher roster, 5 of 6 new players to contest this matchup. The United Kingdom having a couple of their own, but definitely filled with a couple more veterans that are used to playing on a stage like this, especially with the pressure of that lower bracket elimination looming over their heads. So it looks like the United States has won the role, so the United Kingdom will be the ones banning first. Be interesting to see what they decide to go with here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the United Kingdom side, they've been pretty comfortable just banning out one of the long note picks. The United States kind of going for that SV area. But this is an interesting matchup because I don't know if the United Kingdom would want to ban LNs against a United States team. I'd expect them more to go for something a little further on the accuracy side, maybe something like Genova. We saw an absolutely disgusting United States score on Genova in their previous match, so...
Yeah, absolutely. These two teams definitely centered around the upper half of the map pool, but the United States having a bit of a better time on those more accuracy-oriented picks. And it looks like the United Kingdom are going to be banning out SV2, so last opportunity to see Kraken come out, not going to be happening here. And I imagine right on cue, SV1 is going to follow suit because I would not want to go on an SV pick against this United Kingdom squad.
Oh, and we're actually seeing a double SV ban. We actually saw the United States have another double SV ban in the previous match, in their previous match, so they will dodge a bullet, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was saying, you do not want to get into an SV fight against the United Kingdom. They have some very, very strong SV players. Ting Momentum, first player that comes to my mind in terms of that side of the map pool. So all straight and narrow here. Gonna keep it Rise, Hybrid, and LNs. It'll be interesting to see what is going to be the first pick here. And it looks like it's going to be Formidable Enemies. So getting the stamina pick out of the way very early is the United States here.
Yeah, absolutely. Stamina. We saw them pick that in their previous match as well. Not really. Well, actually, was it? No, it wasn't ban because they had the double SV ban. I forgot. But yeah, this is something that they went for, something that they're very comfortable with, and it's exactly where I would expect the United States team to kind of delve into.
Yeah, absolutely. Unsurprising that they go for something a little bit more consistency-oriented. Can definitely put up some incredible numbers, as you were alluding to, with that Genova score. So right now we're just waiting to get the last player into this lobby. It looks like it's going to be Grip Warrior, Midder, and A Sharp for the United States. Eliminate Ting Momentum. And I would imagine somebody like Zubin might be coming in for the UK here to round out this composition.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna have the stamina squads coming in for each team. Not surprising to see the United States squad in there. A Sharp, I don't believe, having played this in the previous match, actually. Having been replaced by Dev in that situation. But otherwise, expected from Midder and Grip Warrior to be in on this. Eliminating Ting Momentum, staying in. I would imagine Zubin coming in for the United Kingdom, just waiting for that slot to be filled.
Yeah, it might just be an issue of getting them into the server and then into the lobby. But we'll get that squared away relatively quickly. And right on cue, here comes Zubin to round out this UK roster. And it looks like these are going to be the 6 players facing off on our first pick. It's going to be our stamina pick. formidable enemy just waiting for them to all ready up here.
Here we go, looking to ready up. Like you said, there's the MP setting, so we should be getting into that start command so that we can get into match number 1, United States' first pick, looking to, start this match off on the right foot.
And just making sure we have all 6 players loaded in. Looks like giving it just an extra second for A Sharp and Ting to get in. Want to make sure we don't miss anybody here.
Oh, I think that was just a weird client error, everyone messing up that long note at the beginning. Unless Mitters was real, I'm not sure.
There we
go, okay.
The fastest accuracy recovery on the planet, and here we go. It's going to be close to 4 minutes of non-stop jump and hand streams, and Ting finds the first break very early on in this map.
Yeah, gonna look good for the United States on their first pick, though that is pretty early on, just before hitting that 400 combo mark, so it'll have a very slightly less impact than a miss from here on out would be, but you never really know. Lots of misses can happen, lots of accuracy breaks can happen. There's Grip Warrior missing to trade that back, and A Sharp doubling up on the misses for the United States, and the United Kingdom will start to take a score lead out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 very clean drops. However, A Sharp still staying above that 99.8 mark. Grips being a little bit more costly, and that is going to hand the UK a tiny bit of a lead to work with here. Anything can still happen. We're still barely approaching the second quarter of the map, and this lead is not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination. The US still in this going into the second third of the map.
Yeah, definitely, but there is the accuracy lead looking to be in the favor of the United Kingdom pretty much solely off of those misses there, but even then, there might be an opportunity for the United States to start dragging the scoreline back just off of the accuracy alone. We see A Sharp building up to the high 99.8s already, trying to reach Zubin, and Grip Warrior outmatching Ting momentum, while Mitter is just in that one-on-one battle with Eliminate as the 2 highest accuracies with those full combos.
Yeah, it's going to be up to Zubin and Eliminate to maintain the accuracy. If they begin to falter here going into the back half of the map, then you can start seeing the inroads being made as we proceed into this back half of the map. You can already see this lead start to shrink ever so slightly as both Grip and A Sharp begin to climb up to contest. If they can make it up to that 99.9 mark to back up Mitter here, they might be able to do some damage here as we make it into the last third of the map.
Yeah, Grip Warrior and A Sharp trying to approach that 99.9 range as we get into the final third of this map, but there are still 2 full combos on the side of the United Kingdom coming out from Zubin and Eliminate, both with very strong accuracy, but starting to be approached by the 2 non-FCs in the United States side. This lead, I think, is shrinking just a little bit, but I think the accuracies are too close together for the United Kingdom to lose this their lead right now, unless we start seeing some misses in this last quarter, but you never know what's going to happen. We did see plenty of people missing already that are more than capable of this stuff, even though this is pretty much just constant from here on out, and these players should be very comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Approaching 3 minutes of solid hand stream to work with, and looks like all the players have recovered from their earlier misses. The FCs are still intact for both countries, 1 and 2 apiece here. The United Kingdom still holding on to the advantage. Gotta watch those LN releases. Any 200s here, any slip up in accuracy, and that just blows the door wide open for the United States to take advantage here. And as we make it to the last sliver of map, we see this lead decreasing ever so slightly.
It sure is doing that. Mitter dropping below the 99.9 range. I don't think we have much left in the way of difficult patterns, so it looks like the United Kingdom might just be able to take a breakpoint right away from the United States unless we see something insane in these last few notes, but it does not look like that is going to happen. And the United Kingdom, by about 1,000 points, just barely over, is going to take that breakpoint on the back of just 2 misses from the United States, so that was a very, very close pick.
Absolutely. The margins are so fine. You have 0 room for error on a pick like this. And I mean, that's just a credit to the consistency of all 6 players. The fact that only 1 miss across the board decided that pick, and it was only by 1,000 points. Any drop in accuracy could have swung that in the favor of the United States, but the UK takes that 1-0 advantage and is looking to double up here with their first pick.
Absolutely, and they'll have the pick of the litter here. I don't know exactly what kind of maps the United Kingdom are going to want to go with out of the gate. They did just win Formidable Enemy, but the accuracy advantage was in favor of the United States without those misses. So I'd be a little bit cautious if I was in the United Kingdom's shoes when it comes to trying to go with something that they're more comfortable with, and potentially wanting to, if I were in their shoes, I would potentially consider going for a hybrid or a long note pick here just to really attack the weaknesses of the United States.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. I could see them wanting to dip their toes a little bit in the hybrids in particular, maybe not fully commit to the LNs, because, oh boy, some of those LN picks are definitely worth proceeding with caution, if I do say so myself. You don't want to inadvertently hand over that breakpoint back to the United States by mispicking, and I feel like the hybrids might be a little bit safer. And yes, right on cue, hybrid 2 going to come out. Revelation going to be the first pick for the United Kingdom here.
Yeah, going for that hybrid pick, a more Rice-focused hybrid than we're seeing from the other two, Party Starter and Ultima Thule, but definitely starting to, push the weaknesses of the United States instead of going with what they're most comfortable with.
For sure, and it looks like we're probably going to get some substitutions here. I would not be surprised to see folks like Newson come in, or trying to think of who could come in for the United States. This might actually be their best hybrid roster in the context of this match, now that I think about it. But Eliminate going to be departing for right now.
Indeed, looks like we're seeing a similar team staying in for the United States. Eliminate coming in. Weren't they already in?
Yeah, they were already in. They might have just been needing to double check what they used to play this map with, whether or not they used Mirror or not.
Indeed, and we're seeing that Star Command come out, so we'll get right into it. Zubin, the only player in this lobby with the mirror, everyone else staying on the non-mirror. Looks like not too many mind blocks coming around for these players, but we'll have to see how Zubin actually feels on this overall. But we're not seeing any roster changes overall for either of these two teams. Just sticking with the hardy trios that we saw on the first map, Formidable Enemy, this time just for a hybrid.
Yeah, they might want to keep these rosters in just more for the Rice accuracy. The LNs might be less intrusive overall, that they might be able to navigate their way through them. And right now we see the United Kingdom take a bit of an advantage out of its introduction, but you'd imagine the accuracy is going to start to even out once we dive even deeper into the map.
Indeed, we're getting into this slower section. These scores are still flickering on either side. We see a little bit of an accuracy drop from Zubin, though, in this long note section. That's going to give the United States an opportunity to take a little bit of a score lead. Mitter falling a little bit behind, but not as much as Zubin. And A-Sharp and Drift Warrior absolutely leading the charge for the United States here. But that's a little bit of an accuracy drop there. Taking momentum above everyone else is just not enough with the accuracy drops elsewhere.
Yeah, and in that first quarter of the map, Eliminate found a slider break, so one full combo gone for this side of the United Kingdom, going to be giving an advantage to the United States going into the back half of the map to work with here. That being said, it was a really clean draw from Eliminate, 99.81, falling just behind Ting, who is really doing the heavy lifting for the United Kingdom to try and get this score lead back, but the overall consistency for the United States has been enough to keep them in the lead going into the last quarter of the map.
Absolutely. Keeping on with the consistent full combos, we have a little bit of a mini jack section that can be pretty hard to stay consistent on in terms of that combo, but transitioning out of it as we get to the last quarter, the United States is going to need to find a miss if the United Kingdom wants to protect their own pick. We're seeing a little bit of a drop in that score lead, but it's not going to be enough unless we see a combo break in this final bit. Just a couple of patterns, and they survive through it.
Just gotta watch out for that drill.
Yeah. Shouldn't be an issue, right?
Shouldn't?
No. We're good. The United States ends up taking that breakpoint right back from the United Kingdom, and we're square at a 1-1 scoreline.
Oh my goodness, what a team score across the board. 993s for the United States, and not too far behind the United Kingdom, Ting, the standout performer in the lobby, but not going to be enough as the United States makes it 1-1 now. And basically, these teams are picking each other's picks right now. It'll be interesting to see if the United States wants to adjust a little bit here moving forward now that they've seen the results
Doesn't
from
look
this.
that way, though. Going with the OWA map, another tech pick. So sticking with the Rice, sticking with what they're comfortable with, though, to be completely honest, they would have won Formidable Enemy if they hadn't had the 2 drops from Grip Warrior and A Sharp in that map. So maybe they're just hoping that they're going to be a little bit more consistent on the combos for this pick here.
Yeah, Eurasian Vegas. Definitely not a pick to be trifled with, littered with a lot of places to find chokes on. You could be on a wonderful run in one section at any given point can just put a damper on the score overall. So it's going to be a real test of composure, going away from the consistency, going over to the tech for this pick. And still no substitutions for the United Kingdom. Zubin, Eliminate, and Ting, the stalwarts to try and contest this pick. We see Tristan Jacob coming in, substituting in for A Sharp here, probably more comfortable with these awkward tech patterns found in this pick.
Absolutely, looks like we see everyone coming in. No swap outs from the United Kingdom again, so we're seeing the same squad staying in for the first tech pick we're seeing out of either of these 2 teams. But Tristan Jacob is going to take the slot of A Sharp now. So we've seen our first actual swap in any of the picks so far.
Yeah, we see double mirrors coming out for Grip Warrior and Mitter. Might be preferring some of these patterns on the offhand. Definitely one of the maps where it might be preferred, especially once you get into the more mini-jack oriented patterns in this map.
Absolutely, but we have a little bit of a simpler opening. We saw a little bit of a drop in accuracy from Grip Warrior and Tristan Jacob, which gives the United Kingdom a little bit of an early advantage, but not by a whole lot. Regardless, both of these teams should have no trouble getting up to that 400 combo mark. So misses shouldn't be too much of an issue until we start getting into those mini-jack patterns, like you said. And the accuracy lead staying somewhat in favor of the United Kingdom, but it is so close that any mistakes can start to sway that lead in one team's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like us being able to say that 99.87 is the lowest accuracy in the lobby is a testament once again to the level of performance both teams are putting out right now. It is the slimmest of margins, and I feel like the real battle is going to be between Mitter and Eliminate right now going into the second third of the map. Both of them top scoring for their respective countries, but you would imagine that Eliminate might have a bit of an advantage given how comfortable they are with jacks and mini jacks in general.
Absolutely no combo breaks coming in up to this point, but it looks like the United Kingdom is holding on to an accuracy lead, unlike what was going on in Formidable Enemy. No major issues happening from any players, but Tristan Jacob just falling a bit behind the other players in terms of accuracy. Mitter holding on with Eliminate, Grip Warrior, and Zubin matching with each other. It's just that 0.1% of difference that's making a score lead in the side of the United Kingdom between Tristan Jacob and Ting Momentum for this map up to this point. But we still have the hardest material of the chart to get to, especially once we hit that final quarter with the very, very intrusive mini jag patterns compared to the rest of the patterns.
Yeah, I like this one right here. Not the most assuming, but can definitely take you for a bit of a ride if you start any of them off on the wrong foot. And it looks like everybody managed to survive that going into the last third of the map. And here comes some of the hardest parts of this map. Can definitely see some chokes happening here if the players aren't too careful going into it. And right now the United Kingdom still holding on to this lead, but it is by the slimmest of margins right now. Any 200 counts on these bursts could spell the end for the run. Oh, and there's the drop from Eliminate!
The first miss that's going to give the lead straight to the United States, but we still have the last quarter to go. The most difficult patterns here with the mini jacks coming in now. Gonna need to see some misses from the United States to swing this back, but it's looking good. But that's Tristan Jacob with a miss too. It trades back the miss from Eliminate. That's going to go closer to the United Kingdom as Eliminate starts hitting that 400 combo mark. But Grip Warrior is gonna find another miss, and that's gonna get the score squarely in the United Kingdom's favor.
Oh, it was looking good for the United States for just a moment, but both those misses coming at the very end of the chart. There's not a lot of time left, and it looks like it's going to be squarely in favor of the United Kingdom unless they find any drops to slate on the map, but I don't think there's enough time.
Okay. And that's a third breakpoint in a row to start off this match. The United Kingdom taking their second point in the match, and it's going to be their own pick to hopefully get themselves an actual own point for this. But if the United States has anything to say about it, they want to make sure that they're evening this out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, another opportunity for the UK to take advantage of a breakpoint. We saw them go into the hybrids, didn't work out too well here. They're seeing that they might have a bit of a composure advantage on the rice picks. So maybe they might want to go for something like that, but we see two of the UK players leaving. So it'll be interesting to see what the pick is going to be for the United Kingdom. I'm unsure if Ting might have made the pick for them with that comment, but it remains to be seen. Might need some clarification as to whether or not they were making a joke or if they're actually going for 2 wise for you, but
yeah, I'm not actually sure if that's a pick there. Maybe need to be a little more clear there.
Yeah, absolutely. So the timer will still be going for the United Kingdom. Might have to clarify whether or not they're going to go for LN2 here. But, I mean, given the substitutions that we saw, or the players leaving after the last pick was over, might be the LN-based rosters coming in for both countries. So, remains to be seen here.
Looks like, okay, yeah, they were picking 2 wise for you, so they're digging into the long note pool, getting a little bit even further outside of the United States' comfort zone with a long note pick instead of that hybrid. But we did see a pretty impressive score come out from the United States. Sun Apple, A Sharp, and Grip Warrior all being extremely strong on the density side of things. You know, especially in comparison to when we start getting those more control-oriented maps in the pools. I'm kind of actually surprised we didn't see, you know, a more streamlined, but not streamlined, but a more awkward pick come out from the United Kingdom to really stick it to the United States, like Encryption. I would have been interested to see that come out from the United Kingdom, but I guess they're just testing the waters here.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not wanting to roll the dice a little bit too much. Things can go incredibly wrong on some of the more coordination-based, or even something like LN1, Secret Sleuth might have been a little bit too risky to go for this early on in the match. So going with a safe pick, 2 wise for you, as safe as a 200 BPM density LN pick can be.
There's the start command getting ready very quickly. Sun, Apple, Grip Warrior, and A Sharp going to be the team for the United States. Eliminate, Ting, Momentum, and Newson coming in for the United Kingdom. First swap we've seen from the UK side, bringing Newson in, but that makes perfect sense given Newson's ability on maps like this.
Yeah, and as we get things underway, everybody handles that opening burst relatively well. Ting falling a little bit in terms of accuracy, but that's going to build up as the map progresses. There's plenty of opportunity to build accuracy with maps as dense as this. And it'll be interesting to see if anybody blinks and finds the slider break first. Right now, the United States holding on to a bit of an advantage here in terms of accuracy over the United Kingdom as Ting makes that recovery run. But A-Sharp's going to find the first slider break here.
Indeed, they are. But Ting Momentum with a slider break to trade that right back, and looks like they had about equivalent accuracy drops as well, both getting down to the 99.4s before we get into this chorus. And Sun, Apple, and Eliminate fighting side by side with each other. Grip Warrior just behind Newson, so we could see a very close match right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really going to come down to the timing of those misses, and that earlier drop from Ting might have a couple extra bad judgments to contest with as A-Sharp makes their recovery run back up into that 99.6 range. Both of them virtually tied. We have a lot of cross-map battles going on. Grip Warrior against Nusen winning that one out. A-Sharp against Ting Momentum, both of them virtually tied. Sunapple versus Eliminate, and Sunapple is winning that fight, and it is too close to call right now going into the back half of the map, but Ting finds another slider break here.
That is another slider break. It is on the same person who didn't have the SC, but A-Sharp trades it right back. We're seeing both of the players who had the lower combos dropping that at the same time, and we're seeing a flickering battle here again as Ting Momentum hits the 400. A-Sharp hits it shortly after, but Ting finds another drop, and that's going to help the United States get that lead in their favor here going into the last third.
Last third of the map still to go. The one good thing about maps as dense as this is that getting back up to that 400 combo cap and being able to stem the bleeding is very fast. And the fact that this map is just under 3 minutes long, A-Sharp finding a break here on going into the break section isn't going to help matters for the United States, but they still manage to hold on to the lead here.
Indeed, and the 400 combo mark has been hit, and these scores are flickering yet again. We see 4 full combos across the board. The only 2 players who have missed so far being A-Sharp and Ting Momentum, looking so close together. It's just about keeping that accuracy strong. Nusen absolutely demolishing this map, but Eliminate loses one of the full combos for the United Kingdom side. That's going to be big and help the United States get that lead in their favor going into the very ending of this chart. There's just a little bit of time left. We're seeing the 2 full combos to 1. Sunapple and Grip Warrior looking to hold on and take potentially a 4th breakpoint in a row. What is this match?
Last liver map left to go. It's still not over.
No
oh my goodness,
way.
the United States manages to hold on.
What is this? This is ridiculous. This shouldn't happen.
Toph, there's no way we get 5 breakpoints in a row.
There's no way, right? There can't be. We can't be seeing this right now.
There is no world where there is a 5th breakpoint handed over. If you are the United States, you are seeing that you're having success on the lower half of the map pool, and the United Kingdom having success on the upper half. I don't think either team saw this coming.
You know, what the crazy part about this is, too, is that, like, you know, if we didn't see the combo breaks that we did from either side on all 4 of the picks, they would have been just regular points. They wouldn't have been breaks. OWA Rage in Vegas would have gone to the United States, so would Formidable Enemy, and then on the other side... oh, but they're not even taking that into account. They're just going straight back into the rice pool with Cthulhu.
They are going to bash their heads against the wall of these rice picks until something gives. They are going to ride the upper half of the map pool until it is exhausted, whether they want to or not. They are going to go for Cthulhu here. The United States are. Mitter coming back in to assist A-Sharp and Grip Warrior. We're going to see Nusen tag out as well. Probably going to see Zubin make their reappearance here. This is quickly becoming a bit of a brawl here, if I do say so myself.
I mean, it's already been a brawl, so... I mean, United Kingdom had such a strong score on this, too, last week. Or not last week, but yesterday, rather. But interestingly enough, Nusen was playing for this and had an insane score, but they're just now swapping them out for Zubin here. The Rice squad that we've been seeing for every other pick, this match at least. So I'm a little bit surprised to see Nusen sticking out for this, but there is potential that it's mostly just trying to give Nusen a bit of a break. Had a really good score on 2 Eyes for you there, and even just trying to make sure that their mental game stays positive, because I know that's been a problem for some players here. So not necessarily the worst thing. And I mean, when you have players like Zubin to back you up, definitely can go for that kind of switch.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you alluded to a very important point. Composure is going to be the name of the game as these 2 teams get deeper and deeper into this match. Who can hold their nerve and who can resist getting frustrated at the results? You've given away 2 breakpoints, but you have to keep your head about you as you contest these picks. You still have an opportunity to take advantage of what has been given to you. And as they make their way into Cthulhu, it'll be up to the United States to be the ones to try and capitalize on these breakpoints that have been occurring so far this match.
Yeah, just coming out of the intro, it looks like Grip Warrior's falling a bit behind everyone else in terms of accuracy, so United Kingdom should have a slight lead. A-Sharp and Eliminate staying on par with each other, and Zubin and Mid are matching each other. It's just that tiny difference between Ting Momentum and Grip Warrior, but Ting Momentum finds a little bit of an accuracy drop, and that should be the United States with that lead now as we start to get into a bit of a break.
Yeah, second, third of the map upcoming, and again, it is the slimmest of margins on these rice picks. You cannot afford to find a Russia 300. You cannot afford to drop a single 200, let alone a break. A break is fatal, and the fact that we are saying that this far into the tournament, we're already in semifinals, and the fact that you are still not allowed to break on any of these maps is ridiculous, if I do say so myself.
Oh, it absolutely is ridiculous, and we're starting to see Mitter kind of take over that accuracy lead in that matchup against Zubin, and Ting Momentum having had that accuracy drop strengthens the lead for the United States, but we're still within a couple of 200s worth of points here as we get into the final chorus, where the density starts to pick up and the patterns get a little bit more awkward in certain spots. We'll have to see if the players are able to hold onto their composure. So far, the United States doing a very good job. Ting dropping just a little bit more accuracy again, and that's going to strengthen the lead even further. But that density is going to start picking up even more in just a second here.
Last sliver of map left to go. It is do or die time for the United States. If they want to try and take advantage of the breakpoint that has been given to them, now is the time. The United Kingdom doing everything in their power, but it doesn't seem like the accuracies are catching up to match. And as the map ends,
that's a six-way FC. The United States just barely holding on to that lead in 5 V1SS's. Ting Momentum, the only one falling just a little bit behind, but that just a little bit behind is more than enough for the United States to take the first non-break point of the match.
Oh my goodness, those scores are illegal, if I do say so myself. These players are performing out of their minds. The fact that 993,000 points is not enough to put your team over the line is a testament to how clean those runs were from the United States.
Absolutely insane to see from these teams, but that is going to be the first non-break point. The United States take the lead for the first time in this match in a 3-2 fashion, and the United Kingdom will have a pick.
Yeah, I think now is the time that you might need to remove the band-aid a little bit on that lower half of the map pool. Might need to go for something a little bit more awkward. Encryption or Secret Sleuth might be on the cards here if you are the United Kingdom to really test that United States LN roster.
We'll have to see what the United Kingdom wants to go with. I think their ideas of going for Revelation and Two Eyes for You was the right option.
Oh, it's gonna be Ultima Thule coming out, Hybrid 1, so not opting to go into those more awkward LN picks, still opting to stay relatively balanced in terms of what you're having to do during the map. So Hybrid 1 going to be the pick. And do we see Newson come in for this?
I think so. I think there's no way Newson doesn't come in. We already saw the swap out from Zubin, but yeah, there's Newson coming in. We even see Eliminate getting swapped out. I think we could see Ciaro coming in potentially if that is the case, or maybe Eliminate's just making sure that they're playing it with the right mods, making sure that they don't need mirror or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. In a match as tight as this, you want to make sure every single setting is precisely calculated and accounted for, because we've seen in other matches where if you're not sure what you're supposed to be playing on, it could spell disaster for the run overall right from the get-go. So Eliminate coming right back in, probably just double checking what they were playing with on this map.
Absolutely, and looks like we have our squads, the Good Luck Have Funs, come out, so we should get that MP setting soon as well. And the MP start command very quickly once everyone's rated up.
I don't know about you, Toph, but I am on the edge of my seat. Can the United Kingdom keep this square, or can the United States take another break point here to really push the tempo of this match?
And here we go into pick number 6. We've had a pretty much even match, 4 breakpoints in a row, followed by the first non-breakpoint from the United States. United Kingdom looking to match that achievement here on Ulma Thule with some interesting long note patterns, especially once we get towards that second half. The long note intensity of it will start to pick up, and we could potentially see some potentially uncomfortable nature from the United States, and we're already starting to see that with A Sharp having a miss very early on.
Yeah, and unlike some of these more dedicated LN picks, there are quite a couple of notes that can get you on the recovery run, but it does take a little bit longer than with something like 2Ys for you. So this is going to be the UK's best opportunity to really build that advantage and really develop a bit of a cushion to this American advance here. 99.91 from Grip Warrior, highest accuracy in the lobby. Midder not too far behind to lend their support as A Sharp back up over that 400 combo cap, going to be coming very quick to support and make some inroads in this lead.
Indeed, combo coming back up for A Sharp has been past that 400 combo for a while, but against the 3 full combos, it's not going to be enough unless we start seeing some mistakes coming out of the United Kingdom. And we're not even seeing accuracy drops from their side here. It's just about that miss right now, and that lead, I think if one of the UK members does drop, we could definitely see that lead swing over, but Midder, for the second miss on the side of the United States, is going to just help that United Kingdom advantage.
Absolutely, a couple of 200s coming out as well as they try to make the recovery from the miss, keep the damage to an absolute minimum. But going into the back half of the map, this is the largest cushion that the United Kingdom has had to work with on a map. And but Eliminate finds a drop on the transition, and that's going to make things a little bit interesting going into the last third of the map. Didn't immediately start swinging the lead over, but it definitely leaves the door open just a little bit here.
Indeed, and we're about to get into that solo section with the more difficult rice patterns, which should ideally favor the United States in this scenario, so that lead could potentially be seen shrinking a whole lot, but the 400 combo has been reached by Eliminate, and we're looking at a pretty consistent blue line now. It's going to take another 1 or 2 breaks from the United Kingdom to even this out, but the accuracy, I believe, is in favor of the United States, but just barely, but maybe not even. But maybe just off the back of Grip Warrior's insane 99.86 right now. It's just about keeping the consistency now.
Yeah, absolutely. And as this map begins to wind down, it doesn't seem like either of the UK players holding on to the FCs are going to want to give an inch here. As the map winds down, it looks like the United Kingdom will find their first self-pick. No more breakpoints allowed, and it is now 3-3.
Breakpoints. We do see the first 2 non-breakpoints coming out, and the United States will have an opportunity to pick again, but it is 3-3. We're in a best-of-7 scenario after 6 maps. This has been such a close match. I need to look at the past scores and just how close has this been already? 4,500, 4,200, 1,200, 6,400, 8,500. And we have not had a single map that has had a difference in score higher than 10,000 points.
That is absolutely ridiculous. And the United States going to go for Geneva here. And I mean, you said it at the top of the broadcast. The United States had a ridiculous score on this in their match against Vietnam. See if they can replicate that performance here, because they're definitely going to need it. There is no room for error as we proceed into what is now officially a best-of-7.
Yeah, they're starting to get to the point where the comfortable picks are somewhat running out. Genova, the United States potentially having more options than the United Kingdom in terms of comfort picks, just off of the size of that rice pool. And, you still have Genova available that they're going into now. They still have counterclockwise chant pattern as well, and Delirium, both of which they had. Actually, all 3 of these maps they've had absolutely insane runs on, but the United Kingdom not far behind on anything so far, just barely missing out on those points. This could be a completely different match. This could be 6-0 so easily right now for either team.
Yeah, it's the slimmest of margins. Whoever blinks first is the one on the short end of the stick. And as we load into the 7th map of this best of 13, it is going to be Genova. It is going to be Grip Warrior, A Sharp, and Mitter going against Eliminate Ting and Zubin, who came back in for Nusen for this Rice pick.
Indeed, getting to that intro, looking for the 100%. This intro super easy for all these players. So who's gonna keep it the longest? Grip Warrior or A Sharp, both holding on to it still.
What does it make your predictions now? We're already over 150 notes in. Both of them still holding on to the 100% out of the roll. Both of them dropped at
got it. But here we go. First streams coming out. The main accuracy drop right now coming from Zubin down to the low 99.8. Ting now falling behind as well with a couple of 200s. All 3 United States members out of that first stream above 99.9. The consistency is unreal right now.
Absolutely, but it can change in the blink of an eye.
Zubin with a miss is only going to help that accuracy lead that the United States has. A Sharp dropping a little bit of accuracy, dropping down to the 99.84s, but it's still higher accuracy than all 3 United Kingdom members. What is this? This is not okay.
Ting finds a drop now, and I mean, this is quickly getting very out of hand going into the back half of the map. It is so easy to mess up some of these runs if you start them off on the wrong foot or if you misread any of the patterns. Finding the recovery can leave you hitting your keyboard for a lot longer than usual, and as we take a bit of a break here, that's approaching 20,000 points.
We are seeing a little bit of an accuracy drop. A Sharp finally falling below one of the United Kingdom members, but Zubin and Ting Momentum so far behind the other 2 United States members. I mean, even though it's... Oh, wait, I didn't even notice that there were 2 drops on the United Kingdom side. I think even with 2 drops, there'd still be a pretty significant advantage for the US here. I think this is now like 3 or 4 misses of difference. And the consistency that the United States is showing, we see 1 miss there, right as I say that, but that's not going to be anywhere near enough going into this last quarter.
Absolutely. We saw A Sharp drop in that last transition, and the bar did not even budge. That is just a testament to how dominant Grip Warrior and Mitter have been, but Mitter finds a drop now, and we saw it flinch just a little bit here. Is there enough time, though?
Definitely not with just that miss. Another miss could potentially give that lead back, but Ting Momentum, I think that might just seal the deal and give United States yet another own pick and bring that to a 4-3 score line.
Yeah, absolutely. Barring any collapses here in the end, but there aren't a lot of notes left, and the United States are going to go up 4-3 now.
You're not supposed to be able to 997 that. I'm just going to say that right now. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
These players defy all expectations. We put the bar, and they clear it every single time.
Yeah, Zubin saying that they got an unfortunate fat finger in that first stream, but even if Zubin did not miss, I think the accuracies on the side of the United States were just too much to overcome there.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those moments where you just got to like tip your cap and be like, okay, fine, you win that, and we'll just keep going.
Yeah, just got to keep going. Can't keep that one in their head. It was the United States pick, so they're not as much pressure to win those picks. It's really, when you're in these situations, it's really just about making sure that you can take your own picks. And, at that point, take your own picks. You'll at least guarantee yourself tiebreaker. And as long as you put practice into that, then you might actually be a couple steps ahead of the other team. So the United Kingdom, not in a bad situation at all, have an opportunity to pick something for themselves. Party Starter could definitely be an opportunity here for them. I would probably personally go for Encryption if I was in their scenario, though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to go for here. Definitely do still have avenues in, and it is going to be...
I finally got a prediction right.
They
finally did it.
It only took what?
Only took
4
5
rounds?
years of commentary to successfully predict what the players were going to do.
Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day, so
sure is.
We'll not get us one.
We'll not get us one of the two. We're seeing a swap out already. Sun Apple understandably coming in for Mitter on this map. A Sharp and Grip Warrior likely going to stay in. Nusen also coming in for the United Kingdom. In place of Zubin, another sensible swap out there. And if I were to expect anything, this is going to be the rosters for the two teams. And we just got to wait for everyone to ready up for map number 8. And has been an even game for 7 maps. United Kingdom looking to keep it that way with their 4th pick in this match.
And as we get loaded in, we see a couple more mirrors coming out from the side of the United States, again, wanting to play some of these more awkward patterns. This map definitely a bit of a test of your release coordination. Want to make sure that you're reading them as best as you can.
Yeah, we have this intro, which can be pretty tough to get the good accuracies on, especially with those mini LN. Sun Apple already starting to fall quite a bit behind, though Eliminate following suit as well. Grip Warrior and A Sharp dropping a little bit as well on their own ends. Same with Ting Momentum. But it looks like the overall accuracy based on that lower bit from Eliminate and now a miss is going to give United States some favor here.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, still in the introduction, going to be able to recover relatively quickly, maybe not as fast as something like 2 Ys for you, but definitely enough to get your bearings straight. And you can already see Eliminate back up over that 400 combo cap, going to be able to start contributing just a little bit, but this is a pretty massive cushion for the United States to work with going into the second quarter of the map, if I do say so.
It definitely is quite a nice lead for them. They have 3 full combos, but this is a very, very long map, almost at that 4-minute mark, and we're only about a minute of the way through that. Lots of opportunities for breaks, especially as we get closer and closer to the ending. That ending is going to be a real interesting point of contention for these two teams, especially that now that we're seeing 5 full combos going into the first break here.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to recover some of that accuracy. We saw Eliminate start to trend down closer to that 98% range, falling a little bit behind the pace of the rest of the lobby, but this will be their chance to climb up just a little bit here as we make our way into the back half of the map. And right now it's really a battle between Grip Warrior and Nusen, trying to keep both their countries afloat. This is getting so close. The margin is still in favor of the United States, and it's really just a deficit between Eliminate and A Sharp making the difference here. That extra slider break from Eliminate costing them a couple thousand points here. And as we get into the last third of the map, I did not like that ghost tap from Sun Apple going into the break. Now last third of the map, the United States still holding on to their full combos here. Nusen and Ting doing everything in their power to try and wrestle this lead back in their favor. Eliminate has done a very good job recovering from that earlier miss and getting back up to try and match A Sharp here. But now last quarter of the map still to go. The patterns get a lot more complicated, and you've been going for the better part of 3 minutes. You gotta keep your wits about you as you navigate these inverse structures. Can't afford to find any breaks here. And as we make our way into the last sliver of the map, the structures start to simplify just a little bit here. Still gotta make sure you're reading your way through. Cannot afford to take your foot off the gas pedal. Despite the best efforts of Nusen, it is being matched and cancelled out by Grip Warrior. Eliminate and Ting not able to overcome the battering ram that is A Sharp and Sun Apple, but Eliminate and Sun Apple find the breaks here. They trade them, and it remains squarely in favor of the United States. And as the map begins to wind down here, Eliminate finds another slider break, and that might spell the end of this pick. The United States are going to be able to pick up another break point and make it 5-3 now. And oh boy, what a crucial breakpoint for the United States. Able to take advantage of the United Kingdom's first foray into the LN picks, or second foray rather, the more riskier pick remaining. And now the United States with the opportunity to capitalize here. Can definitely see something like Zenithalize coming out, something a little bit easier structurally, but definitely lending itself to the accuracy that the United States possesses. That being said, Delirium and counterclockwise chant pattern, both pretty interesting picks to try and go for to really turn the screw, and it is going to be counterclockwise chant pattern coming out from the United States. And it'll be very interesting to see who comes in to contest this pick for both countries now that we're starting to approach this late stage of the match. So now as we wait for Rice 7 to get loaded up, it is going to be counterclockwise chant pattern. And I mean,
you can't expect anything else from the United States. They just got that breakpoint on encryption, a very important breakpoint here, and going with something that they're very comfortable with. This is another map that they had an incredible score on in the previous match.
Yeah, we see Mitter tagging back in for the United States, able to get a bit of a break here from reading through some of those harder Rice charts. This one's pretty hard in its own right, but it requires a different level of finger control to navigate, so definitely probably appreciates getting a chance to approach this with fresher hands. No substitutions so far from the United Kingdom.
No substitutions. We are seeing Newson looking to potentially stay in, eliminating Team Momentum, having played every single map so far, and there's the start command coming out, so it will be this squad staying in for the United Kingdom here.
Yep, and as we get everybody loaded in, it's going to be very interesting to see. Okay, am I thinking this right? A Nomad from the United Kingdom, a full mirror squad from the United States.
Were the entire United States on mirror yesterday when they played? I actually don't know.
Imagine picking up Mind Block inside of 12 hours.
Yeah, crazy stuff if that's the case. But regardless, we're getting into this map, starting off with the more long jack heavy section. Looks like the United Kingdom might just be able to take, at least keep themselves together here. But 399.9s in this intro so far, but no misses. Should fare pretty well for both teams until we start getting into the more dense patterns that are a lot trickier to hold combo onto.
Yeah, this introduction is just a primer, and Ting finds the first break here very early on in the map, but everybody just crossed that 400 combo cap, so it's really going to start doing some damage as everybody starts to get full credit for their judgments here. Ting going to be lagging a little bit behind to try and make their score known here.
Yeah, the overall accuracy favoring the United States as well. Eliminate doing their best to stay above everyone, but Newson just a little bit behind Mitter, and Team Momentum, especially with that miss, is going to hold on just a little bit behind the both A Sharp and Mitter in this scenario as we start to get closer to that second, third, and we haven't seen any other combo breaks from anyone, despite the more brutal bursts and jacks starting to come in.
Yeah, it's really just once those bursts start to pick up, you start transitioning in and out of them from rolls into those mini jacks, and it's very hard to keep track of everything. 5 players, basically everybody making through that section relatively unscathed. It is still just that miss from Ting making all the difference here going into the back half of the map.
Absolutely, and we're getting a little bit more of the isolated patterns in this, a little bit more of a break outside of those long jacks that are still present. And here we go into the more bursty and chord jacky kind of patterns throughout this ending, as we still see 3 full combos on the side of the United States, but that is going to be cursed as A Sharp finds a break in that, a break in the break, and that's going to be 2 FCs to 2. The accuracy advantage, the only thing keeping the United States afloat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A relatively clean drop, but that one's a lot messier from A Sharp, and now the lead starts to shrink just a little bit. It brings the United Kingdom back into contention here going to the last set of the map. A Sharp needs to get back over that 400 combo cap very quickly and recover that accuracy as best as they can. Still in that 99.7 range, still above Ting Momentum, but that extra miss is going to hand the lead over to the United Kingdom going into the last quarter.
Absolutely hitting the 400 combo mark just now as A Sharp has this lead, but Eliminate finds a second drop for the United Kingdom, and that's going to be 2 full combos to 1 in favor of the United States on top of that accuracy lead, and that lead just skyrocketed a bit for the United States off of that, and that was not the cleanest miss to eliminate, having had the highest accuracy, but A Sharp's going to trade that right back, and the United Kingdom might be able to take the lead off of that.
It remains to be seen. The accuracies from Grip Warrior and Mitter are keeping the United Kingdom at bay, but Newson finding a massive drop down into the 99.6 range in line with A Sharp. Another couple.
That's another one. That's 0 full combos on the United Kingdom now to the 2 from Grip Warrior and Mitter as we get into the final patterns, and it looks like the United States is just going to eke out their own point and bring it to match point in this match.
Oh my goodness. It's amazing how fast things can turn when you start getting those clean runs in, and the United States makes it 6-3.
What?
That
what? Is that possible?
they just did it.
They did just do it. It's in front of my eyes, but I don't believe it.
I refuse to believe it, but it is there for all to see, and it is backed against the wall time for the United Kingdom. They have been in this position before in other World Cups, and they have found it within themselves to make this a bit of a brawl. So definitely do not count them out here.
Party Starter coming out as the pick from the United Kingdom. Last legs backed into a corner, going back into the hybrids. They did win Ultima Thule, so maybe they're looking to just get that advantage. This is also very long and potentially stamina draining for many of these players. It's going to be really interesting to see. I definitely would... Ooh, Tristan Jacob coming in. Haven't seen them much this match, but looks like Party Starter is going to be the one for them.
Yeah, this could be one of those... They are a bit of a hybrid player. You would imagine A Sharp might have a bit more accuracy, but given the fact that they played so many maps and we saw the performance from Counterclockwise, might be time to give them a bit of a break and maybe put in the second best option to try and give them a bit of a chance to recover here.
Yeah, and looks like we have our 2 teams, Tristan Jacob, Grip Warrior, and Mitter for the United States, eliminate Team Momentum, and Zubin looking to hold on to their tournament lives, looking for that 4th point in the match. And they definitely, well, they don't have a choice anymore. If they want to stay in this tournament, they have to get the next 3 points and then win the tiebreaker. They are backed into a corner, but it's nothing that they haven't gone out of before. Last year finals, they were down 6-4 in the finals against Vietnam and took it back into a tiebreaker and won. So anything is possible now.
For sure, do not count either of these countries out. It is not over until the final note is played. And as we get underway in this map, it is basically too close to call as we make our way deeper into the chart.
Getting deeper in this intro, not going to be too bad for any of these players. Very comfortable to kinds of patterning, but we're getting into this transition. Once we get out of that, that's when the real fun starts. Getting some mini jacks and some difficult bursts. No misses here yet, but here we go.
Time to get that party started, and going into the second quarter of the map, the United Kingdom going to be having a bit of an advantage here to work with. 99.8 on their side. Zubin not too far behind, 99.7 themselves, able to keep Tristan Jacob at bay, but a bit of an accuracy drop from Ting going to give the lead back over to the United States, and it is going to be swinging back and forth, you would imagine, as we progress deeper into this map.
Yeah, we're starting to hit the long note section, though, and I could imagine Tristan and Mitter starting to have a little bit of issues potentially with some of these shield patterns, and the accuracies are starting to drop. Tristan Jacob especially down below the 99.5s now, and the United Kingdom takes that accuracy lead in this long note section. Looks like it's going exactly like they wanted to, as these more difficult patterns come. But Eliminate is going to find the first combo drop in this match.
Oh, and that is a crucial drop if you are the United States. Tristan was suffering in that last section, an opportunity for them to recover their accuracy as the patterns begin to lighten up just a little bit going into the back half of the map, and Eliminate just barely now getting up over that 400 combo gap. Grip Warrior finds a miss now.
That's going to even things out. Immediately gives that lead back to the United Kingdom, though that miss from Grip Warrior was extremely clean. It's just off that back of the accuracy, but Team Momentum, a second break for the United Kingdom. And the United States should be a bot. It's traded right back. What's going on?
the last two FCs on the board. Tristan Jacob and Zubin, the lowest accuracies in the lobby, holding down the fort for their respective countries. Watch them as this map progresses into the last third. See if either of them can hold as Grip Warrior, Mitter eliminate, and Ting. But Ting finds a slider break going into the last third.
It is. We still have the one full combo from each side. Tristan Jacob, though, still suffering from the accuracy, especially in this section, now dropping even more. And the United Kingdom is actually maybe holding on to the lead just off of the fact that Zubin's accuracy on that full combo is slightly better, but it's flickering back and forth as we start to get into this last third. Now we're getting more of those shieldy long note patterns that Tristan was having real trouble with early on, but that accuracy staying consistent.
Drop!
Grip Warrior trades it back, but that's a third full combo gone from the United Kingdom. One left on the board. Tristan Jacob looking to take it home for the United States right now as we get into the final quarter of the map.
Oh my goodness, cannot afford to blink. Tristan has to hold for the United States if they want to try and take this last break point here. Grip Warrior still towering above everybody else in terms of accuracy. It's really just those misses that they found earlier on in the map, and right now it is the tiniest sliver for the United States to work with. Off the back of that FC from Tristan Jacob, everybody back up over that 400 combo cap. It's really just going to come down to accuracy, and Grip Warrior finds the slider break!
Oh my god, the red bar is going back in favor of the United Kingdom. There's no other misses. They're taking some advantage. This is the final bit. Tristan Jacob still has that FC though.
Oh my
goodness. Any guys from the UK could definitely give this straight back. This is so close. I don't even know what to say. Anything could still happen.
Any bad judgments from the United Kingdom could spell disaster. Grip Warrior back over that 400 combo cap, and they still have the highest accuracy in the lobby. It's not going to be enough. The United Kingdom managed to stay alive.
They'll pick only 2,500 points, but they stay alive. It is the United States' final pick in this match. They've got to make it a good one here. They have a couple rice picks left in the pool. They've got Delirium available. They have a Zenithalize available, but Delirium, I think, has to be the pick.
Yeah, it has. You do not want to get into a core jack battle with a player like Eliminate. I feel like they could single-handedly decide a map like that if they go for it. And it has to be Delirium. What other safe picks are there? You do not want to get into LNs either, but
yeah, no, it has to be Delirium. There's no way the United States goes with anything else.
It remains to be seen. Is that clock going to be right for a second time? Or will the United States throw a bit of a curveball out here? They still have a couple of breakpoints to work with. It's going to be Delirium.
Delirium, final pick for the United States. An extremely red top half of the map pool. United Kingdom looking to stay alive in this tournament continually. They only have 3 maps to choose from if they manage to win Delirium, though, and they still have to deal with the tiebreaker, no matter what the case is.
Absolutely. So probably going to see A Sharp coming back in. A valiant effort from Tristan Jacob getting... Oh, wait, he's returning. Tristan Jacob is back. Might have earned a stripe here, getting that FC, holding on for the United States. And I mean, these tech picks, anything can happen on them.
Absolutely.
And coming in for the UK.
Whoa, this is going to be an interesting match. We've got some people that we haven't really been seeing for these types of maps. Newson mostly being held for a couple of hybrids in the long note maps that the United Kingdom has chosen. And Tristan kind of doing the same on that side, but both coming in for the final rice pick, or not the final potentially if the United Kingdom really wants to go as a neutralize, but for the final of the United States' picks and potentially the final of the United Kingdom's run in MWC, they're going to have to put everything forward in order to stay alive.
Yeah, cannot afford to miss. They got... I feel like they can count their blessings for Party Starter. That was quite a bit of a ride to keep themselves alive, but I mean, so long as the score is higher, that's all that matters. It is going to be Delirium. The United States still on match point. The United Kingdom looking to keep their tournament hopes alive. Oh my goodness, strap in everybody. We are in for a bit of a show.
Yeah, especially the second half of it's going to be extremely important for us to pay attention to. The beginning and the first half is pretty difficult. It introduces to you some of these more difficult patterns like the mini janks and these streams that are going to be coming in with those awkward anchors as well. But the ending really throws it all at you, not stopping for anything and combining the patterns as much as possible. But we're at that 400 combo mark, no breaks, slight accuracy lead for the United States. Here, and we get into the streams. Newson finding the first drop for the United Kingdom there. Nothing else happening so far, but it was a pretty clean drop, only dropping to that 99.7s now. But this is a pretty short map. Even one break can cause some pretty hefty score damage.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that red bar firmly on the left-hand side for the United States. Their squad holding on to that average 99.8 eliminates, trying to do something about that though. 99.9 from them. You imagine with this more Jack-oriented tech pick, it's something for them to flourish on. And being backed up by Newson and Zubin. Newson now back up with that 400 combo cap. We're able to stem some of the bleeding and try and trend this back over to the right as we make our way into the back half of the map.
Yeah, we're getting to the back half. Now the patterns start pretty much going never-ending with a flourish of those mini jacks coming out of them. Not quite at the start, but we'll be getting into it. No combo breaks through it yet, but now here we go. This is really where it starts getting difficult for these players, but no signs of stopping from anyone as we get into the last quarter and the final few, final little bit of patterns as things get extremely difficult to hold on to.
Yeah, but all these players are making quick work of it. Last sliver of map left to go. Midder has arrived to contest, eliminate Grip Warrior. Keep it open at this Midder!
That's a miss right at the end. It was pretty clean. I don't know if there's enough time. It's shrinking pretty fast. But there's just not enough notes, and the United States is going to win the match 7-4 and move on in the losers bracket to make it into the top 6 to join teams like Malaysia, South Korea, Brazil, Philippines, and Japan.
Oh my goodness.
What an insane final match. That's wild.
What a way to close out this semifinals weekend. Congratulations to the United States. Commiserations to the United Kingdom, making it this far, falling just short of that finals weekend. They did as best as they could to make it this far, but somebody has to lose. That is the unfortunate part of tournaments like this, and that'll do it. That'll do it.
That'll do it indeed. Final match of the semifinals. We only have one more thing left for us to worry about, and that is going to be the finals map pool showcase. And not the last map pool showcase of this tournament, but because we have a little bit of a surprise with Grand Finals having its own map pool, but don't let that fool you. This map pool is pretty rough. I'll say that much. But we should be able to get pretty quick into it. We'll make sure that we have everything set up, but we have to make sure, yeah. That's pretty much it. We're just going to be moving pretty quickly into the map pool showcase as soon as anything is ready. Anything else for you to say, Sparky?
Wow. I am at a loss for words. For once, during one of these broadcasts, these teams
this weekend. Look at this losers bracket. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there were 6 matches in losers bracket. Japan, Singapore 7-3, China, Thailand 7-6, United States, Vietnam 7-3, UK, Indonesia 7-5, Japan, China, and USA, UK 7-4. No sweeps on that side of the bracket. No sweeps on the upper bracket either. We saw a tiebreaker in Korea versus Philippines and another 7-4 scoreline in Brazil, Malaysia. What an insane weekend of semifinals matches we just had.
Absolutely. These teams came to play, and oh my goodness, I feel like no matter what hurdles are put in front of them, these teams always deliver. And oh boy, I hope they are ready for what is in store for this finals map pool showcase. It looks like we're going to be taking a tiny bit of a break to make sure everything is in order. We will be back at 1920 UTC, so I believe that is about 12 minutes. If you guys want to...
Correct. 12 minutes from now, we'll be getting into the map pool showcase, but we'll be taking that small break to make sure everything is set up properly and ready to go and that the map pool is all ready and all the good stuff, just making sure it's going to be as enjoyable as possible for all you. So don't leave. We want to make sure we see you here for the finals map pool showcase, and I know you're going to want to see what all 6 of these teams, all 18, well, not 18, 36 players left in this tournament are going to have to suffer with next weekend. So come back in about 10 minutes. We'll be ready to show off the insane pool we have ready for you.
Put it on the right track, put it on the right track. Message from my heart, message from my heart. Put it on the right track, put it on the right track. Message from my heart, message from my heart. Put it on the right track, put it on the right track. Message from my heart, message from my heart. Put it on the right track, put it on the right track. Message from my heart. Message from my heart.
Hello, everyone. Once again, we had a short break, 10 minutes. I am back once again, Toph Daddy, joined again by Sparky. After that insane finale of a match for the semifinals, we have one stream left to go. We have our finals map pool showcase, the second to last map pool for this tournament here. We have 2 weekends left, 2 map pools left. We're getting into one of the harder ones that we've seen so far. Nice bump up from semifinals. How you feeling about this, Sparky?
I don't know what to expect. I've thought the semifinals pool was pretty hard. The fact that we're going to be stepping up the difficulty even more, and the fact that this isn't even the final step for the map pool difficulty, I'm scared. To be quite honest.
Scared's the right feeling to have, especially if you're one of the 36 players in the finals, in like the top 6 teams that are going to be playing this next weekend against each other. Quick rundown of that winners bracket: we have Brazil and South Korea still guaranteeing their top 3 spots. Then we have 4 teams left in the losers bracket. We've got the United States, we've got Philippines, we've got Japan, and we have Malaysia as the final of those. All 4 of those split teams will be duking it out, looking for that final top 3 spot to join South Korea and Brazil. But I think without further ado, we can just start showing these maps out. We can see what we are going to make all 6 of those teams suffer with. How are you feeling about that?
Let's get right on into it. And what a way to start off. It's going to be Camellia's Venomous Firefly to start off this map pool showcase.
It is indeed. We're going to start with our speed jump stream, just like we have been for the previous pools. Cthulhu having quite a bit of a jump between quarters and semis, and we're having another bit of a jump, 12 BPM up to 277 BPM. Again, not the final map pool. This is really fast, even for a last map pool, but we're not letting these players go. Even Cthulhu was getting demolished by these players. I don't know when it stops.
I don't think there's ever a point where it does stop. These players will keep rising up to basically show us what for when it comes to these picks, and you can already see some of these really dense stream patterns transitioning into jump stream, back and forth, really hard to read through. The speed really starts to become apparent here.
So what's interesting about this map is that there's so much of a trilly nature to it. A lot of it has kind of like that balanced feel to it where it swaps hands quite a bit. But you're already seeing, like, in that earlier section where we're going back and forth, like you mentioned, and right there, you were seeing a lot of those 1/4 column trills that last like 5 or 6 notes, and that at 277 BPM can be extremely draining, especially when there's no break between them. It's just jump stream.
Yeah, and then in the transition between all the jump stream, you do have some hand stream patterns as well to contest with, and those intermittent sort of jump trill-like patterns can really start to get obtrusive if you start rushing just a little bit, trying to transition in and out of them. Can definitely see some players dropping some accuracy, making their way into this back half of the map.
Yeah, but it is pretty short, 1 minute and 53 seconds, so you just have to get in and out with it, kind of similar to Kakuga. You know, you keep those speedier jump stream picks pretty short, but, you know, that's about what we expected. Kind of an abrupt ending there. I didn't expect it to be done so fast. But that's going to be our first rice pick. We're going to get into our first hybrid. In my opinion, the easiest of the hybrids in this pool. Well, easier. But, you know, the accuracy side of this can definitely be very difficult. Retrospective, Arabesque, 1.15 rate. What you'll notice about this map, so there's a lot of those like staggered releases. You already saw a couple of them. Most of the patterns throughout this are actually pretty simple. Like, and you're thinking like, oh, this is not hard, but getting good accuracy on those is one challenge of it already. Plus, there are a few of those mini jacks at 207 BPM, which can be extremely difficult to get right. So it's really just about getting through those easier patterns like we're seeing already, and then transitioning into those really, really fast mini jack and super awkward burst and release patterns.
Yeah, this map definitely going to be one of those cases of maybe a low barrier to entry for the players remaining, but a high ceiling for mastery to get those impressive scores on. You can already see a lot of Grace Note Flam oriented LN patterns, and oh boy, it really starts to pick up as you transition into the back half of the map. Calms down for just a little bit to give you a chance to catch your breath before picking right back up where it left off.
Absolutely, and we see that weird mini jack transition into some more dense LNs than we were seeing in that earlier chorus. This is a pretty short map as well, only 1 minute and 36 seconds, so you have to be in and out, and any misses are going to be brutal.
Yeah, very little room for erring. You see all of those reverse shields at the very end of all those LN releases. It's definitely going to be a bit of a contentious point to try and navigate your way through that, and just the speediness of this pick is really what lends the difficulty to it.
Yeah, speediness, kind of that awkward accuracy angle that they're going for. But that's going to be hybrid one, or the first hybrid that we're showing off. We're going to go back into some more rice. And similar to Venomous Firefly, we're seeing well, this is a tech pick, but this kind of, I think people know this map. Writing on the Wall is 1.4. This is our first tech. It's going to be kind of in that same vein as what we saw in the previous rounds, OA Rage in Vegas, but instead of it being 240 BPM, 244 with mini jacks, there really aren't mini jacks in this. It's just broken jump stream at 288. So good luck, I guess.
Yeah, just good luck. Yeah, just do it. That's basically what you're saying at the end of the day. I mean, you're going to have to play your way through this. It's basically a test of finger control and your ability to transition in and out of all of these broken up streams here.
This gets really dense. I mean, some parts of this are really dense. We just saw that back and forth kind of dense pattern, but a lot of these like broken patterns are pretty like light. So it's not like it's like going to be super difficult for a lot of these players to really work with. It's just about like making sure that you can read through some of them, especially when the streams get more extended.
For sure, and basically keeping everything in check as you navigate through the transitions can definitely see players maybe spiking a miss because they either finger lock or just unable to process what's happening on screen, especially because we are bumping up the BPM so high on this first tech pick, and we already make it into the back half of the map. It feels like it goes on forever without a break.
It does feel like it takes a long time, and you have those intermittent, like, not jump stream patterns, but you get those jacky kind of patterns without the jump stream within them, and you kind of just have to make sure that you're able to transition around some of these, like, and especially when those bursts start getting in, those are not very fun to make to get good accuracy on.
For sure. And as you read your way through those streams, you start transitioning into some of those split trill patterns as well. That, I mean, just trying to keep those in check. I feel like trills are always one of those aspects where you either find yourself rushing them, or if you start any segment of that on the wrong foot, that just ends the entire section for you. And already going into this ending, it throws a kitchen sink at you at the very end of the map.
It sure does. You don't really get much of an opportunity to worry about like what you're doing, because there's no break. There literally is just no break in that map.
For sure. And we will be moving on to our next pick. It is going to be Planetarium. I believe this is our first LN pick of the pool.
It sure is our first LN pick, and we're starting off with Density here. It's going to be on 1.2 rate, a relatively well-known map, I think, within the community. But 216 BPM density patterns, moving from that 200 BPM to 216. And some of these, like, what is going on? I need to reiterate, we have another pool after this.
Yeah, if you think this is scary, the fact that it gets worse is terrifying. And just reading your way through this feels like a bit of a nightmare. It's so easy to get lost in what you're being asked to do. It feels like you're playing inverse, but it's so speedy, you don't really have a chance to catch your breath or orient yourself as you try and make your way through it. You just have to play it as best as you can and pray that your releases are good enough to maintain the accuracy, and we're making it into the back half of the map. The only merciful part about this map, I feel, is the length.
Yeah, kind of 1 minute and 40 seconds, and we're just getting into this ending now, which just keeps that kind of like constant streaming thing that we saw a little bit of earlier on in the map and turns it up to 11.
For sure, there's so many short LNs to contend with on these inner columns. Transitioning into the outer columns, there's always a finger pressed down as you make your way through it, and as we make it into this last quarter of the map, we see a bit more of a jack-oriented LN section before it picks up the streams once again.
Yeah, I mean, we already were starting, like we were mentioning beforehand, this is a pretty rough map pool. Semifinals is already pretty tough, and this one just throws everything at you, and that's going to be our first long note pick, and, you know, we've kind of had this pattern for previous map pools. We're going to move back in Rice, and we're going to go for speed here. This map pool is really short so far, and that just makes it risky. It makes it riskier to pick some things that you otherwise be pretty comfortable with, because single misses can mean the difference between 10, 15,000 points sometimes, especially if it's not a clean miss.
Yeah, I feel like we've said it before in past broadcasts, there are no free picks allowed in tournaments like this. Every single pick from here on out is very risky, cannot afford to blink for even a second. And I mean, if we're asking the players to play stuff as difficult as this, we definitely want to keep into consideration their physical stamina, because definitely don't want anybody getting injured playing their way through these picks.
Definitely don't, but you know, we had a squid map in the finals pool last year that got up to about 400 BPM. This one not quite as fast. This gets to like 368-ish in the choruses with some, you know, some minor patterns that can be pretty difficult. But this is also kind of has that same quality as, you know, Zero from last year, where especially once you hit this last quarter, it just starts blasting you at like in specific spaces. And that's kind of like just the nature of speed in some cases, where you want that to be a little bit more on the risky side by keeping it short and making sure that people are just able to keep up with it physically.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you might have one player that can handle this comfortably, but finding that second and third to back them up is really going to be what separates the ones that make it to that grand finals, I feel.
Absolutely, but that's going to be our speed pick. Very, very short. We're going into a more regularly paced map here. Maybe not even regularly. We're getting a longer map here. Our second hybrid in the pool. This is going to be... I just need to say that this is extremely difficult. Like, this is... Good luck. good luck with this.
Good luck. When you have somebody like Toph, as exasperated as they sound, trying to introduce this map, you know you're in for a bit of a ride. It is going to be Mushino Sumu Tokora coming in here. And oh boy.
Long. You're already starting to see some of these bursts. This is, in my, well, thinking about the other hybrid that we have, maybe it's not the most physically challenging. It's the most physically apparent, especially when you're watching it. You have like these bursts kind of throwing you in, some reverse shields coming in, as well as just kind of like awkward transitions between the really brutal rice patterns and those LNs that you need to make sure you're holding down. And they're not a trivial length. Like, they're not short enough that you can just not pay attention to them. You have to make sure you're looking for them and playing them right.
Absolutely. And it's really going to be a test of your ability to handle both sides of the skill set. Your rice abilities are going to be tested, your LN abilities are going to be tested as well. Does line up just a little bit of those bursts. Definitely something to keep you in check. No time to go into autopilot through these sections. And I mean, we're already in the back half of the map, and I don't think we've seen any semblance of a break come out here.
You see a little bit coming around, kind of like, slower patterns that you still have to kind of pay attention to, but the real break is going to come after this really brutal pattern here. These are really fast streams, and that finisher for it, just a lot. There's so many points in this that you can break in. I was trying to get a full combo on this. It took me like 15 attempts just to get to the ending, and I'm just gonna let you watch the ending once it comes around.
For sure. I feel like what really lends to the difficulty of this pick is the fact that the snaps on those bursts in the rice are so awkwardly timed that you can't really just like roll your way through them or kind of, dare I say, manipulate your way through them without costing something, whether it be a combo break or accuracy drops. So you definitely need to pay attention to where your fingers are in relation to those bursts before you get back into the LNs.
Yeah, a little bit of a rehash of the intro. We'll have some pretty basic patterns here. We see that first miss coming out from Mysterion on this replay, but this
hard to read through.
Hard to read through, but just, it's so draining, especially after having that first like 2.5 minutes of everything before it.
Yeah, I feel like if you got rid of those LNs, might be a little bit easier to get through, but those LNs thrown in to those streams are just torture. So good luck with this one.
Just good luck. LNs coming back in the fray. We have a little bit of a more familiar map to people, I think, used in Soft 6 finals as well. Elemental Creation, Zymex, Odin, difficulty on OD7. This is going to be one of our more wildcard ones, but it's going to be starting to dig into a more speed-based long note category that we haven't really been seeing a whole lot of throughout this tournament.
Yeah, so not to be confused with the density pick that we saw a little bit earlier. This one's really going to test your ability to maintain high speed, and I mean, with it comes with that density as well, but you do definitely have to deal with a bit of inverse patterning as well as you can test your way through this pick.
Absolutely. I mean, 242 is no joke at all. You don't get quite the density and the density consistency that we did see for Planetarium, but you still get a lot of these really dense sections, a lot of really fast sections. And I think one of the biggest challenges with this chart is just making sure that you can read through it and keep combo on it. Combo, I think, is going to be extremely important. Accuracy, not as much. The OD7 is going to make it a little bit more comfortable to get ratios on it for some of these players, but the speed itself is going to make it a lot more challenging than you'd expect to keep the consistent combos on it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like with the more LN-oriented players, we definitely want to make sure that they're being kept in check a little bit. We've seen some really nasty scores on the LN charts so far, and being able to raise the speed a little bit and add that little bit of a physicality element to the LN side of the pool might give a little bit more encouragement for more rice-oriented teams to start picking some of these LNs, because oh my goodness, it just goes.
Ending though, you thought the beginning was hard, and then it just throws the whole kitchen sink at you. We kind of threw the kitchen sink at you with some of the other picks, but this one kind of just does it. I don't even know how to explain this. Things are hard. This map pool's hard.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of superlatives at this point to describe how difficult this pool is. But I mean, the players are gonna be able to contest
Yo.
it, and here comes what is going to be the first
What was that
SB
intro?
pick.
What was that intro?
SB jump
What
scares.
is going on? These are all Pat. You're not allowed to jump scare us. Oh, I've never seen this. By the way, this is my full reaction to seeing what is going on.
We have approached.
Okay, before we actually try to like react to this, let me give the words of wisdom from Walter Toro about this map, My Culture by Pataraj. We are now seeing more memo parts on this, and a lot of the map is just quirk bumps and teleports that are normalized.
Yeah, we have
And
reached.
it says it's easy for this round, but I don't agree already.
Easy and SV are not two words that go together, if I am perfectly honest, but I mean, I believe this is Walter providing the replay. They just make such quick work of SV picks like this. They make it look so simple, but when you're going to practice this as a team, it can just become a nightmare to work your way through it. There is not much more to say about it. I mean, you're gonna have to deal with all of these staggered teleports, trying to like basically make a no SV edit of this, play it a couple of times, get used to where the tricks are, and you might be able to make your way through this.
Yeah, like the rhythm in general tends to be kind of straightforward. It's mostly just 1/4 with a few gaps in between them. But some of these SV gimmicks make it look a lot different, and I think even someone who knows this map very well could definitely have some issues holding on to combo, especially if they forget some of the things like those jump scare teleports. I think are going to be extremely devastating for some teams.
Yeah, I like how you call them jump scare teleports, because I definitely flinch whenever I play through SV maps that have stuff like that. It takes you for a bit of a loop if you're not expecting them, and it just makes you just hit your keyboard and either break or drop accuracy. And this is one of the longer picks in this pool, clocking it at just over 3 minutes. So the memorization element, sure, you might be able to read through it, but remembering where all the gimmicks are is really going to be the test.
Yeah, and not just that, but it's also like a true like SV test of composure almost. Like we've been talking about those jump scares, but like making sure that you're not reacting too heavily and rushing everything in a match where you're already pretty nervous is going to be something that I'm really interested to see how the players kind of approach and make sure that they like avoid in match, especially for some of the really, really good SV teams that we have. Number 1 seed being Japan on that SV qualifier, and Brazil right behind them at number 2, both still in the tournament. We could see some insane scores on this.
For sure, definitely one of those maps where you just need to trust yourself and your preparation to get you through, because boy, that
ending.
that
Ending moment.
If there's anything I enjoy more is hanging LNs with SV.
So true, but we have a non-SV pick now. We have our core jack map. This is not the one that was using soft. I'm going to need to put that out right now. We're not putting soft 5 grand finals core jacks in the pool in finals. That's not happening right now.
Not yet, at least.
This is the lower difficulty of Kill Each Other. A lot easier. Maybe not a lot easier. It's at 162 BPM, which is pretty hard and still does get pretty dense, but the patterns are a lot friendlier than the top difficulty on it, and they're a lot less dense in general. So you'll have opportunities to kind of make sure you're staying consistent, as opposed to just trying to handle some really brutal patterns, which this still has, but not quite as bad.
For sure, can definitely get yourself locked into a bit of a groove. Not a lot of things to trip you up here. A couple of grace notes every now and again, but it's really just going to be that juggling the 3-note and 2-note chords in between to get you through here. And again, one of those things where finding 3 players that can contest a pick like this is really going to be what separates the good teams from the great teams this late on. I feel like every team left is capable of performing on a pick like this, but it's going to be very close.
Yeah, and I mean, 162 BPM starts to hit that range. Like we kind of hit 150 last week, and I said this in the previous map poll, but we're really starting to hit that point where the players who are really good at chord jacks are going to start massively separating from the people who just are not capable of keeping up with this BPM.
For sure, can definitely see things going very, very wrong if you can't maintain the stamina necessary to maintain that consistent 162 BPM, because if we start reaching that black and white area of you can either do it or you can't.
Absolutely we are, and this is the ending of the map. 99.99%. Thank you, Muka, for just being an absolute monster with jacks. Don't expect this score from anyone.
You say that you say that now.
No. No one will match 17,300s on this.
Everybody mark Tove's words when we arrive next weekend.
I'm gonna get quoted so hard on that.
But anyways.
Back into long notes, Slaughter 1.1. Yeah.
This one might be familiar to anybody that was keeping track of Soft 6. I believe this was used
Semifinals 1.05.
So just
uprated for finals. This map's rough. It's really hard to keep yourself consistent on this.
For sure, especially this introduction. This introduction is hard enough to really just decide a map, I feel, because trying to keep all those jumps together consistently through that intro is very hard before you get into a bit of a break section here.
Yeah, a break, kind of.
Break, quote unquote, yes. I take what I can get on maps this hard. If it doesn't have stuff like this going on, I consider it a break. But yes, you do get these very nasty bursts to contend with. Quite a bit of coordination required as well as you traverse your way through the map, and a couple of jack elements as well, just to keep you on your toes just a little bit here as you make your way into the back half. The density begins to pick up just a little bit, and that Grace Note Drill on the left hand can definitely see Mirror coming out as an option if you want to play him on the offhand, but then going into the next section you have to play it on the other hand regardless, so pick your poison here.
You've got your three column inverse kind of swapping between hands all the time here, and that can be really awkward, especially once we start getting out of this into the last quarter where a bunch of mini jacks and bursts really start coming in, those reverse shields. This is like party starter, but instead of it being a hybrid, it's a long run map.
Yeah, a little bit less rice transitioning, having to do a lot of really short LN management, and definitely watch all of those bursts. Can definitely see. Thankfully, Score V2 column rushes aren't a thing anymore, but can definitely see players tanking their accuracy, trying to make their way through it.
Absolutely, but that's a rough map. 2 minutes long, so relatively short, not shorter than some of the other maps we have in the pool, but still gives opportunities for players to really just kind of focus in on one map and not worry about it being so long that you need to pull your stamina. Regardless, that's going to be LN pick number 3. We're moving back into some more tech. And this one, we've got Pizza 69's Real Ultimate Power. And if you remember maps like Aqua Regia or Sizzasite, this kind of takes the slot that kind of map would, where it's, I mean, at first you wouldn't really expect it. It's mostly broken jump stream for a little bit here in some bursts. But once we start hitting like the second and final thirds, we start seeing 231 BPM mini jacks that are just absolutely brutal. We're already seeing one right there, but that's not as intrusive as we'll start seeing right about now.
Oh my goodness, it really, that introduction is a bit of a primer. It's just basic simple jump stream, and then once you get into the third, into this transition, everything starts flying off the rails, and you're having to just operate at full focus to try and read your way through this, because if you take your foot off the gas for even just a second, you can find yourself chain missing all over the place, trying to recompose yourself. It does light up just a little bit here, but it is not much to take solace in, because you're still having to contend with all of those mini jack patterns.
Yeah, some of these just get so dense. I don't even know what to say about this.
That being said, if you are one of those that likes reading through some of these more dense tech-oriented picks, can probably take comfort in a pick like this for as much as it can give you as you make your way into the last quarter of the map, and it just does not stop once it picks up, and I mean, good luck. Dare I say, it begins to calm down just a little bit towards the end. A couple of abrupt bursts as well. Still have to contend with the mini jacks as well, ever present here, but that'll do it for. This is our second tech pick, I believe.
That was our second of 3 tech picks. We'll go back into some hybrids. We got Apollo 1.0. This one, I think, more on the straightforward side in terms of things, but this is still really difficult and has a bit of an accelerating BPM, especially towards the ending, but this intro should not be underestimated when it comes to the very difficulty that just exists just off of some of these patterns. It starts off pretty simple, but you start getting some long jacks involved right there, and those kind of build up as the map goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're reading your way through the LN patterns, you have a couple of reverse shields to contend with as well, just to make sure you're staying in check, not sleeping on what's being asked of you here. And there are those long jacks that you were talking about here.
Indeed. And then you kind of have these extended long jack kind of areas right there, and even though that's only at about 132 BPM, or no, it's at 135 or something like that, or 130. It's at a BPM that makes that hard. I'm not gonna, it's just like that. And we're already starting to see some of that accelerating BPM show up here in this section before we get into the main chorus in the second half. And this is kind of like a predecessor of what we'll start seeing towards the ending, where the accelerating BPM comes back with a vengeance.
For sure, and do not underestimate that trill going into the back half of the map. You could be on the run of your life, and if you're not fully prepared for that trill, can definitely say goodbye to a really good run there as you dive back into this more LN-oriented section.
Absolutely. And these long note patterns, just like we saw in Slaughter, are pretty difficult with some of those reverse shields. And we're starting to see more of those long jacks starting to return as we hit the last quarter. And like I said, that acceleration starts to come back with a vengeance, and we'll start to see that pretty soon coming up.
For sure. A couple of anchored patterns before you get back into the burst, and it's just a lot to contend with. A couple of speed jack oriented patterns before you get into some more trill oriented patterns, and then going into this ending, things really start to pick up here.
They absolutely do, and here we go back with a vengeance, even denser, having some of those long jacks, denser patterns, and that'll finish off the chart.
Yeah, definitely frenetic pacing, the name of the game for this one. Definitely need to hold your nerve as things start to pick up. Don't get lost in those BPM changes. But that'll do it for this, and we'll go into Reap What You Sow.
We got some more tech. This is our final of 3 tech picks. This is going to be more in that kind of, if you were paying attention to Blue, it's more in that speedy tech zone that we've been seeing, kind of in the same area as parts of Delirium, but this more focused on the streaming aspects of it. Kind of similar to a pretty popular map, Limerent Death, that I'm sure players are able to recognize, but some of these sections just get really rough. We're starting to see these bursts come in here, and I believe these hit something like 380, 400 BPM on the 1.05, and that's just brutal with some of these patterns.
Yeah, being said, if you are able to read single note streams, especially for as awkward as these get, might find yourself having a bit of a decent time making your way through this, for as decent as a pool this hard can offer you. Transitioning in and out of those bursts is going to be of the utmost importance, keeping your finger control in check. And I feel like that's a recurring theme on these tech picks, just making sure you maintain the composure to play your way through and maintain the accuracy, because we have seen some very close matchups on the tech picks found in earlier pools. This probably won't be any different.
We're starting to see the solo come around. Similar streaming patterns that we've been seeing, but as we start getting to the second half of the solo, it gets a little bit more camel-jacky, and we're going to see even more anchory patterns as this continues before we hit. Look at those triple anchors there in that net. I can imagine a lot of choke points happening in this section before we transition right back into some rehashes of what we saw in the intro. And we'll definitely be going back to seeing those 400 BPM burst sections very soon.
For sure, blink and you miss it, and blink and you might find yourself missing, especially as these streams start to make their reoccurrence. They just do not stop. They force you to read your way through them. There are no repeating patterns that you can really grab onto to try and read your way through. It's going to be a real test, and you can find yourself missing quite a lot if you get lost at any point during this map.
Absolutely. This is a really brutal map, and it's going to be pretty risky in the same way that most speed maps are. Just this one's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Wake Me Up was only a minute and a half, so this is more of that consistency zone that we'd expect out of the players. Final rice pick. One rice pick left. Magic Cycles 1.35. Our speed jump stream was at 277. Our stamina jump stream pick is going to be at 265 BPM. And if it doesn't look like everything's brutal already, we're just going to make you hold on to this for 4 minutes.
Yeah, just maintain that consistency. Strap in, lock in, and just go. And with that elevated OD, not a lot of room for error if you want to try and maintain that immaculate accuracy.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've seen players just absolutely crushing the stamina portion. Maybe 265 will start to get some players. I do still expect people to be pretty okay with maps like this, though these patterns, you know, the classic shoegazer patterns with the pretty common anchors and one-hand trills, in general, popping up all throughout the chart. We got those bursts, and when it comes to these kinds of DJ Sharpnel-esque jump stream maps, you don't really expect many breaks. You just don't.
No, absolutely not. This is going to be one of those where you find yourself slipping for even a second. That UR bar is just going to start trending one way or another, and that's going to be devastating, especially with how closely contested the stamina picks have been so far. We saw it in the earlier match. It was determined by, what, one miss?
Yeah, it was 2 misses to 1, and the team that missed once won that pick by about 1K. Whoa, what just happened?
Bit of a break given to us here as we try and get the map brought back up. I mean, to be fair, with the stamina picks, I mean, it's basically just a consistency jump stream pick that we get to see, so...
We're in the break. We're not missing much.
No, if you saw the first minute, 2 minutes of the map, it's basically more of the same. Here we go.
Oh, there we go. We're back. We're back right when the transition starts. What a time to be alive. We missed the break and nothing else. Perfect timing. But
absolutely,
we have that burst going in. We get the denser streams coming in. No misses from Mattia. Absolute beast on this, but one of the best, you know, Flash Revolution players in the world. I would sure hope to expect a good score like this.
Absolutely. And I mean, that if players consider that a benchmark, 993, I'm very scared for what the team scores are going to be on something like this. I mean, sure, we might start catching out one or two players, but there's definitely enough talent in terms of Rice proficiency to get basically every team left over the line.
Yeah, and so far we've only seen that one break. I mean, we didn't see the break. Technical difficulties aside, we've had the one break in this map, and other than that, we haven't had really any time for breathing throughout this entire portion. We're getting a little bit of one here again. So you get those two breaks, but even then, I don't think that's going to be doing much if you're not capable of holding onto stamina at 260 BPM in the first place, especially since some of these break patterns are not the most straightforward. One-hand trill is definitely not the easiest to keep consistent
consistency on.
Consistent consistency, absolutely. What a phrase. But yeah, keeping that accuracy on it throughout those sections and keep your stamina straightforward throughout the entire 4-minute length of this map is not going to be easy.
For sure, and as we begin to get into the last 100,000 points found in this map, it'll be very interesting to see how closely contested this pick is going to be. If there's any map that is going to have some incredible scores, I feel like this one might be the one.
I think there's plenty of players left in the tournament that could perform extremely well on that, but there's also plenty of people who I think are going to have some minor issues holding on to the 265 BPM for that long.
For sure. And we're going to move right on. It's going to be RIP coming in here.
RIP, final long note pick of V4 in this pool. This is going to be closer to our... It's not even release anymore. It's more coordination and timing hell. Like I said, timing... Last weekend, we had the semifinal showcase. We started introducing that timing hell zone of maps. And this definitely already... You can already tell that this fits that, statement of just, pushing more into the jacky nature of maps with the staggered releases that I think was pretty much cultivated by Juan Crystal. So we're just seeing that even more in this final long note map of the pool.
Yeah, definitely just all over the place in terms of where you're being expected to release, when you're expected to start. It doesn't have the swing rhythm in as something like Secret Sleuth, so maybe just a little bit more straightforward to hang on to. Don't have to really time as much, but definitely need to watch out when you're pressing, because the density in the map can definitely throw you for a bit of a ride if you're not fully expecting, and you can see that jack-oriented nature on some of those shorter LNs going into the longer ones here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are seeing those kind of jacky-natured LN patterns in this BPM at 284. That means that those are going to be 142 BPM jacks, and when you're trying to coordinate those long notes, that can be extremely difficult to work with.
Yeah, and then the fact that there's so many varying lengths in terms of the holds can definitely see a situation happen where you go into one of the shorter lens and you want to instinctively re-release immediately, and it's something longer and you find yourself slider breaking. And I mean, thankfully this is a longer form map, so the recovery time or the damage from the misses aren't going to be as devastating, but you definitely don't want to miss if at all possible, which is, I mean, a tall ask. If I do. A
tall ask for sure. You're talking about the second to last pool in this tournament. Just don't miss. It's easy. It's easy. Just don't do it.
Just hit the notes.
So the interesting thing about this is that if I were to compare this to any chart that we've seen in MWCs in the past, I would probably just off the BPM and the style of the map, Kami-sama from 2019 MWC Finals is probably the one that I'd choose. And having that in the second to last map pool instead of the final map pool is kind of scary. You know?
For sure. I mean, it might be one of those situations where this map might be the one that teams might trend towards less just because of the nature of it. But those that are really, really confident in their team's overall LN abilities might be choosing something like this to really put the pressure on their opponent.
Yeah, and we got this final bit where the density just continues to hit you like it did in the earlier section. The staggered release is also definitely not going to be easy to work with. 7.3 is
pretty tight.
Not the hardest. It's pretty tight, though, for long notes especially.
Yeah, I feel like in the past this would have been something like OD0. Though that being said, it does begin to wind down, but the coordination at the very end, still putting you through your paces, even at the end, cannot afford to drop for a moment.
Absolutely, but that's one. We have one map left before the tiebreaker. We still can't forget about our second SV map, and let me go back to Walter Toro's quote.
And while you do that, oh my goodness, these LNs are gross. I feel like somebody told me this was a bit more physically oriented compared to SV1, and you can definitely see it here.
Just got back to the quote. Why do I hear boss music? That's the entire quote about this map. I don't know anything about this. So this is true reactions coming out from me and Sparky for this SV. Oof,
Oh no, all these quads with the LN.
That's a Shakinetsu pattern right there. Oh, we're going back to Shock.
Listen, if you're good at SV, you are salivating right now. But this is.
Oh, I was wondering why it reminded me of like so many Seal charts. This is made by Seal.
Ah, lovely.
Okay, we're on par for what I expected, seeing the name attached to the mapper. Oh, what was that?
Very fast jump throw transitions, and I think what really makes this feel so jarring is just all of the stop and go and the slow jam in between what would normally be like a standard rice pattern. Like these are some pretty physically demanding patterns, and what is this?
Oh my. So okay, what I'm gonna say about this right now. So this is Seal. I didn't expect Seal to come in the finals. I expected them to have a grand finals map. They're here. This already just looks like a combination of all of their finals maps combined. We see Shakinetsu patterns. We see Descent patterns. We even see some callbacks to like the unused SV map they made last year for what would have been in finals, but it ended up too hard. This is absurd.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, we got some ready-made love too. Let's go. I love this so much.
I mean, you would be tasked to do something like that if you were still.
I'm scared. I'm scared to see this get perma-banned.
Oh god, can we put
geez.
Protect next year? Because my goodness,
please, we want to see these maps in pool. Please, someone not ban this. Please, one of the matches. We just want to see this once.
You will have our eternal respect if you pick this, because oh my goodness, trying to learn that inside of a week is going to be having 3 people learn that inside of a week is going to be.
Yeah, that also has to be with each team. Anyways, that was the final map of this map pool before the tiebreaker.
What a way!
What a way to finish it off before we see Tremendous. Very aptly named with that capitalized end in the name, made by Mint, custom made 965,000 by Transcendence earlier. That should be a little bit scary already. 7,369 combo with a miss towards the end. This is going to be brutal. Yeah.
If you thought a multi-genre SmackDown was hard, this is an order of magnitude more difficult. And the fact that this clocks in at just over 7 minutes, you're already dead tired from an excruciating long match with some very, very difficult songs to play through, and you're being introduced to this.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you can really say. There's not much we can commentate about like in the moment. We're just waiting for things to happen, because this is your finals tiebreaker. This is the second to last tiebreaker we're going to be seeing, second to last pool. So obviously this is going to be extremely brutal, and I think that was already pretty clear from those intro long note patterns that we've already seen and continue to be seeing here in this transition. We're not even in the main part. This is just the transition.
If the build-up is this hard, I can only imagine what the drops are going to be. And you can already see like there's so much to work with here in terms of being inundated with these LN patterns through this introduction. The rice is kind of there just to keep you on your toes into transitions, to not give you a bit of a break, but we're only a quarter of the way in.
This is a 7-minute map. 7 minutes and 16 seconds. We still have 5 whole minutes left.
Best buckle in and just enjoy the show here as we begin this next build up here.
Just keep going. When you're seeing transitions and build-ups being as hard as they are already, you're gonna have something coming to you when the drops actually start happening. And we got some core jacks here. We see some pretty fast ones keeping up with that BPM that we saw from Kill Each Other earlier. Not going to be a walk in the park for many players, especially if you have to put out the players who are just the most balanced overall for these teams. I really want to see a tiebreaker, but I'm so nervous to like just see, who ends up going in for them, because some of these patterns you just have to be so well balanced for to get good scores on this. And there's definitely going to be teams, even in the top 6 right now, there's going to be teams that just don't have the full 3 players that are going to be able to get through all of this without like significant damage.
For sure. It's appropriate for a tiebreaker. You want to make sure that the teams that are capable of putting those players in this position to perform at their peak make it through. So a very apt test as we make our way into the back half. And you see this build up once again. Oh, these outlands.
Brutal long no patterns. Yeah, we see some mini jacks on opposing hands from the held down patterns. But those trills are really fast too. No column locking anymore, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But we transition out of that into some really, really fast mini jack kind of hybrid-y sections here as we're just now getting to the second half. Like, we're barely into the second half. This is going to be brutal for pretty much anyone who gets to this point. I hope, for the player's sake, that they don't make it, but I hope, for my sake and the viewer's sake, that at least one tiebreaker happens. We need to see it happen.
Yeah, we got a bit spoiled during these semifinals. A lot of very close matches. A couple tiebreakers coming out as well.
2 of them, maybe. Maybe that'll show off. Maybe that's a little bit of a premonition. We'll see some more coming in finals. Who knows? We have, what is it? 4 matches. 4 matches, that's a lot of opportunities for tiebreakers.
For sure, especially with how close the remaining teams are. And we see, again, the build-up once again. You get this minuscule break before you get into this brutal reverse shield jack-oriented section. And again, these structures, these LN structures start to become more apparent, more intrusive.
We got a little bit of a dense jump string. Pretty slow, I'm sure players should handle that just fine, but this sounds like the introduction to that drop, kind of similar to that LN jump scare we saw in multi-genre Smackdown from the semifinals. But we had a little bit better of an introduction to it, so we'll see how this ends up going, but this is just brutal. Like, we've said it so many times, but
yeah,
you can't overstate how much this kind of pushes the envelope.
For sure, in terms of physicality, in terms of composure, in terms of stamina, both physical and mental. Because I mean, you start playing your way through this. You're already 3/4 of the way through. The nerves start to build up just a little bit because you're wondering just how well your team is performing. You can't let those thoughts get in there, lest you find yourself dropping left and right, and you don't want to be the one to drop on a map like this, because every single miss is important with how close these teams are, and it's really just going to come down to the slimmest of margin. We already saw in the last round a match decided by less than 250 points on the tiebreaker. Yeah, every note matters. So
really, really important to mention. So Nautica is the player. Transcendence nowadays missed at the 3/4 mark at that 7,300. We had a 900 combo run again. We're approaching 9,000 combo right now, and we still have a map left to go. Does this actually hit 10,000 combo as its maximum?
We could very well be in 10,000 note territory with a map this long, and I mean, this section here at the end
is brutal. These patterns are so difficult, and what is this? This looks like the 285 BPM jump stream section, so good luck. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
There is not much left to say. As the map begins to wind down, you finally get a chance to catch your breath and wonder if your team came out on top, and that will do it.
Yeah, that map hits 9,600 combo.
That's ridiculous. But that
9,700.
that will do it for this finals map pool showcase. To the teams remaining, good luck and congratulations for making it this far. To those that have been eliminated this weekend, congrats for making it this far. Commiserations, but the show must go on, and this is going to be a bit of a ride.
A bit of a ride might be an understatement. That's for
A roller
sure.
coaster.
Yeah, we've got one winners bracket match. We got winners finals coming up next weekend with Brazil versus South Korea. I'm so excited to see that match. We saw Malaysia really take Brazil to the edge. Philippines just not being able to take down South Korea in that case. Going to the tiebreaker. That's going to be a super exciting match, but losers bracket, all of the stakes alive still, looking for that final top 3 position. Philippines versus Japan to start. Malaysia versus the United States on the other end. Winner of those two will face each other on the same pool just to make sure that we have our top 3 solidified. We got those 4 matches coming up next weekend. I'm super excited for that, but I think there's something else that I need to mention before we log off for the weekend.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Toph?
I think I might be. I think if you go to the OC store, there might be banners that you can buy to support the teams that are still in this tournament looking for that top 3 position.
Say no more. How much do those banners cost, Toph?
I believe it's about $2.50, which is a steal for an incredible looking banner on your profile. And if you choose the winner of the tournament, that banner stays until the next iteration of the 4K World Cup. But let's say the $2.50 is too little for you and you want to donate more. What do we do then?
Then you can go over to the Open Collective, an initiative that we have going on for the Osmania 4K World Cup, where you can donate as much or as little as you'd like to the prize pool to give to the players at the conclusion of the tournament. So if that $2.50 is too little for you and you want to be that generous benefactor, you can head on over there and give as much as you'd like. But Toph, we have had some incredible matches. We have had an incredible map pool showcase. I think it is time for us to say goodbye.
I think it sure is. What an incredible weekend we've had. I've been Toph Daddy, joined by Sparky for this finals map pool